All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to PRL Season 9, Tier 2. We are racing at the Dutch Circuit of Zandvoort today. It is our 7th race in the 14 race calendar, and it'll be the last race for these Tier 2 drivers in 2023. We are taking our winter break after the midway point of the season. And as all the drivers get out, I'll introduce my co-partner as well, Ramsey, who is not in the session yet, but he is most definitely here. Let me go grab the link for the stream, and I'll post it in the Discord. Ba, ba, ba. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it was that was a chaotic race. Honestly, after the lap 18 safety car, I thought we only had 3 safety cars. So when I saw everyone crashing, I thought there was going to be another safety car, but none of them came out. There was like 4 DNFs, and I'm like, okay, I guess no safety cars for the rest of the race. Honestly, I find that really silly. Like, I get that you don't want to have a crazy amount of safety cars, but when people are literally like DNFing and crashing on like main parts of the circuit, it's kind of silly that there's no safety cars. But that's just me. And then, I mean, of course, safety cars coming out for people breaking their wings is also silly. So, I mean, yeah, people can't hear you. Yeah, that's the. I've noticed it with Discord. I don't know why. Let me. Can I bring up Twitch? Can they not hear you? I I do believe I have it enabled. Let me look. Ba 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 ba. That might work as well. Here, let me voice channels. Not mute. Share your voice. I have that. Voice chat connection. Mm-hmm. Voice. Okay. Yeah, I don't have anything that actually. Shh. Yep. Yep. Sounds good. Oop, hold up. I have to transfer it back to PlayStation. Uh, how do I?
Craig there with a 10.5 currently. Oh, I just heard myself on stream.
Oh, you're actually on stream? Okay. I just have to get it back to my PlayStation because right now I'm just on my computer. Hold on. Let me leave this. Hello. Can you hear me, Ramsey? Hello? Oh, no. I can hear you now. You're on my PS. Can I hear you on the stream? That's so weird. All right, sounds good. Yeah, no worries. I'll hop back into the commentators channel then. I will. Ciao, ciao. Uh, All right. Apologies for that tier 2. A little bit of craziness with trying to get Ramsey onto the stream, but we're back. And let me take a look-see at all the times here. So, it looks like it's starting to rain, too. Okay. Not sure if it's strong enough rain to actually make a difference, but we got new plays in P1 currently in the Mercedes, a 110.4. Ace Edge in the McLaren, a 110.5. Craig in the AlphaTauri as well, a 110.5. Butler as well, 110.5. So, top 7, only separated by 6/10, so it's very close. Oh, I saw someone without a wing there. But not a super large grid either, currently. Only 14 drivers, so a lot of points on the line. Okay, everything's good there. Just check the Twitch again. Yeah, I hope you watch the stream at least, Ramsey. All right. So, let's take a look. Who do we want to go on board with? Butler is out of ERS, so no lap for him. Canuck is out as well. Muppet might be on a lap here, so we'll stay on board with him. In the Haas, he is really low on ERS, though, so maybe he's not on a lap. Does look like he's pushing, though. We'll be able to tell when we get to the Sector 3 timing sheet. He might just have enough ERS to make a lap. He's going to run out on the main straight, which is going to cost him some time. No, he is not going to gain. Did you get a weather update? No, I did not. I did not. If any drivers in Tier 2 are listening, of course, give me a little weather update. It would be appreciated. But it does look like it's raining pretty hard, so unless the rain stops, this may be the fastest times we're going to see. And whoever is in the race who has Dr. J added, he lagged out and he needs an invite back to the session. Yeah, it looks like it's raining pretty hard now, so these may be the fastest times of quali. I don't think anyone's going to improve unless the rain stops in about 5-6-ish minutes. So, I'll go through the list again. Butler is still on track. Everyone else is in the pits. Lucas Zaid, who is actually your championship leader right now, has not set a lap. And unless the rain stops, he may be starting in the last position. Let me take a look at the standings for all of you watching currently. So, Lucas Zaid, your championship leader, is leading the championship by 16 points over Northern Canuck in the Williams. He did not race at Japan, so it caused a lot of drivers to gain in on his relatively large lead that he had prior. Nico John won last week in the Aston Martin. He is 28 points down from the lead. LaRodri, who is not racing this week, so unfortunately for her, she will lose a bunch of ground that she made up last week. She finished P4, 34 points down currently, and Camel Banana in P5 in the championship. 90 points down, 1 point ahead of Butler, who is P6 in the standings. And then it drops down a little bit to Craig in the AlphaTauri, P7, 136 points down. Tar Heels, 139 in 8th. Tac Delta, the other Aston Martin, is 145 points down, and Dutch, the final, well, top 10 position, is in P10 in the Williams, 147 points down. So from P7 to P10, very close. And then Camo and Butler are kind of fighting for P5. And then everyone else from P4 to P1 is also relatively close. So DRS is disabled, so people are coming out for some interlaps, but I don't think it's going to do anyone any good. I mean, Camo Banana has a 111.9. I mean, I don't think he's going to be able to go faster on inters. Dookie Hoser has come out on inters. I mean, realistically, if it's raining in the race, this is actually a really good time for the drivers to get some rain practice in. Just do a couple laps, see how the track feels when it's raining. But if it's not raining in the race, then, I mean, I guess this is just some extra laps for the drivers. Get a feel for the track when it's not at its optimal condition. Scruntled Muppet. I mean, Craig's going out for a lap. I respect it. You are in P3, though. You don't really want to... I mean, then again, wrecking your car and qualifying doesn't really matter in the game itself. Ace Edge in the McLaren has decided to not do any more laps for the foreseeable qualifying. He is happy with his P2, and I don't think anyone's going to be able to get anywhere near a 110.5 on inters. So, I mean, yeah, Dookie Hoser's 7 seconds down. The wet really does affect your time a lot. So, I mean, I think this is going to be our final qualifying order, and New Plays in the McLaren or in the Mercedes managed to set the best time on his first run, a 110.4. That is going to secure him pole position. Okay, so Northern Canuck has informed me that rain is to start the race, and it dries near the end of the race. So, I mean, not a bad idea to get some inner laps in, get some practice to see how the track feels. So, not a bad move from the drivers who are out there, but I do understand the drivers that don't actually want to go out there and, you know, maybe crash and me catching it on stream and making it embarrassing for them. But yeah, your championship leader, Lucas he will be starting in the last position, but considering that man's pace currently in this season, if we take a look at the standings, the races that he has raced, he's won twice, 3 third positions, and 2 fastest laps, and his worst position is only a P5, where he got fastest lap as well. So that man has some very good pace, and it looks like he actually is coming out for some practice laps on the inters. Not a bad move. I mean, it's debatable, but if he has an incredible lap on the inters, he maybe could catch Flying Grayson. But I mean, even then, they're setting 120s and 119s, so I don't think that's going to happen. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I can't really... We'll just spectate Craig. Take a look at his beautiful AlphaTauri. No bias here, of course. But if anyone's in the stream and actually wants to, you know, throw a couple questions, have a little discussion on something, because, I mean, right now, the drivers are just driving out there to drive. They're not really going to gain anything from it, apart from getting their own experience and how they feel on the track. So, yeah, if anyone's watching, have a little discussion. I know there's a couple of you in here. Craig lost 2 seconds on Sector 1 and 2 due to the rain, yeah. The rain is not very fun here. And the rain is starting the start of the race after qualifying is over. Hopefully Tier 2 has a better Turn 1 than Luco last of first challenges ago. I mean that could have been what he was going for. I'm not entirely sure, because I mean they did have 9-10 minutes of dry racing, and I do know that, I mean, the game tells you if it's going to rain later in the session. So if Lucasade maybe just... I think Lucasade was just going for a last to first, because why not? If there's some rain, give it a go. It'll be fun to keep an eye on him. He's lucky that it's not a 20-car grid. He gets to jump 6 positions up. It is unfortunate that it's a smaller grid for this race, because this is actually a really fun track. Obviously, Tier 1 did have its... Tier 1 had its issues, of course. I was in the race, and I didn't notice much. It was a relatively clean and fun race for me, but I saw a lot of complaints after the race, and surprisingly, there's only one incident report. But that might change later on, not 100% sure. There was like 7, 8 DNFs, I think. So, even if you're racing on your own, yeah, look at Lucas Aid. 119.5 just shows the pace difference, what the rain does. Funnily enough, I think the only lap I saw people do was like a 119.8 was the closest to that, so Lucas Aid, even on inters, is like 3-4 tenths ahead of the drivers on track, so it's going to make for an interesting race. Of course, New Plays, Ace Edge, and Craig are very quick drivers. Butler as well. Nico John won last week. Canucks in P2 in the championship. Muppet had a really good race last week at Japan before he had a little spin. So it's not going to be easy for Lucas Aid. He's fast, but we haven't really seen him race in traffic. And racing in traffic is completely different from racing just out in first with all the clean air. You can take the ideal line, take any line you want, really. Any podium predictions and sleepers? I mean, if I had to pick a sleeper, Muppet was really quick last week in the Haas. He qualified third, and he was leading the race at one point, and he was in second or third until he had his spin coming under the bridge. So, I mean, if you want a sleeper, you could pick Muppet. I mean, Canuck in seventh is not at all comparable to how fast he is. So, Canuck and Muppet in 7th and 8th easily could be a sleeper pick. I mean, Dr. J, too. Dr. J's a really quick driver when I've raced him in the midweek. Very clean driver. I mean, Butler, too. Butler's very quick, but he does have a tendency to be wasteful with his ERS, and being wasteful with your ERS here is going to cost you because the recovery is very slow. But if I had a podium prediction, Dr. J just got into the session too, which is very nice. So if I had podium predictions are so tricky. I think it would be really silly of me to say Lucas Aid will not at least get a podium. So if I had to pick, I'm gonna, you know what? Ace Edge had a crash last week. I think he's deserving of a win this week. Ace Edge, commentator's curse. Ramsey is not here, Craig. We had issues trying to connect on the Discord commentators channel, so Ramsey decided to walk away, leave me alone, but that's fine. I think almost 90% of my streams I've done alone. And I think Ramsey's watching the stream as well, so he's here. But yeah, Ramsey is not here, so I will be the sole commentator for the race. But yeah, Ace Edge, commentator's curse, if it exists. I hope it doesn't. You're winning this race for my prediction. I think Craig's going to come home P2, and I think Lucas Aid is at least going to get P3. If higher. I don't think he's going to finish outside the podium. That would be a silly prediction from me. New plays. I mean, I hate to leave you out of my predictions, but I think you're going to get P4. Wet race forecast. Yes, Butler, I was informed that the race will start wet. So it was smart of you guys to go out and get some inter-practice laps. And I heard it was drying at the end of the race. So it will be interesting. I'm not sure. It said drying at the end of the race, so I'm curious if it's going to be a soft stint at the end or if it's going to be a medium stint. But that's quali officially over. Basically, all these positions were shown 10 minutes before quali ended. New plays is your pole position with a 110.4, Ace Edge in the McLaren, a 110.5.2, Craig in the AlphaTauri, a 110.5.3, William Butler, 110.5 in the Red Bull. Dr. J closes out the top 5 in the Mercedes, a 110.6. Drop down a little bit to Nico John in the Aston Martin P6. Northern Canuck P7 in the Williams, Disgruntled Muppet P8 in the Haas, P9 goes to AlphaTauri, Dookie Hoser, TAC Delta closes out the top 10 in the Aston Martin, Camo Banana, Dutch, Flying Grayson, and Lucasade close out your final qualifying positions. We will be going racing wet in Zandvoort very shortly. You guys are going to have me talking a long time, aren't you? There's going to be 4 safety cars. There better not be 4 safety cars. I trust you guys to have a good race. Show up tier 1. Show them that just because they're fast doesn't mean they're as good as you guys. No, Lucasade actually took a phone call during quali, so he actually didn't get to set a lap because he was on a phone call. So it actually wasn't a purposeful or last to first. So yeah, that's kind of funny, but he's got the pace, so I'm sure he can make his way to the front. All right. So the drivers are just getting all their stuff set up. 4 safety cars. I mean, I really hope not, Hoop. I really hope not. Speaking of Hoop, you had a fantastic race today, buddy. Thanks for the AlphaTauri points. P5. I saw you racing Jesse to the line there, too. That was great. Good stuff. I appreciate your well-driven reserve today. And I will happily take you as a teammate any other race if my main man Dermer doesn't show up. I'll keep an eye on the tier 2 chat as well, just in case I miss some things. Oh, Ramsey, if you're listening, Lucas A did do some laps, so his setup is still there. I think it was Dr. J you were confusing with, but Dr. J also did a quali lap, so his setup should be locked in as well. If you're listening. Yeah, thought so. Where do you see who's watching the stream again? Yeah, it is a shame that Ramsey couldn't calm. It would have been fun to calm with him. Obviously, he's a great guy to talk to when we do our 5-lappers as well. So, you guys are definitely missing out on some extra info, but you know, stuff happens. Unfortunately, I guess Ramsey's going to have to get a PS5 if he wants to chat with us. Well, I mean, he can chat with us on Discord. It just, for some reason, it doesn't go through on my stream for some reason. I don't know why. It was the same when I tried it with Jesper a while back, and we were both on PlayStation, so I don't know. Definitely a little bit weird. I do hope that's their actual new name, Hoop. I actually don't find it that bad of a name. Compared to, I don't know if you guys saw, but good God, that Sauber name? What is it, like? Sauber Kick? Something? Whatever, who cares? Race start in 5 lights. And we're out. That was a really quick race start. Some people did not get going very well. And Ace Edge has pushed him. What is going on? Why is Dookie Hoser in the lead when he's not actually in the lead? Oh boy. Okay, well that ain't good, but Ace Edge is in the lead, just ahead of New Plays and Butler. I don't know why Dookie Hoser is listed as the race leader. Hopefully that fixes itself, because he is most definitely not the race leader. Okay, it fixed itself. Good. Alright, we're back to normal. The standings is Ooh, it was very tight by New Plays, trying to get by Ace Edge and take back his first position. But Ace Edge holds off everyone. Butler has moved ahead of Craig into the third position. Further back, Northern Canuck up to P5. Dr. J, I think, is down one position. Dookie Hoser's up 2. Muppet stays in P9. Tac Delta is up one position. Dutch is down 1. Lucasade already up to P10. Oh, and we have Chaos coming out of the penultimate corner. No idea what happened there. We do have a yellow flag. No safety car, no VSC. I have no idea what happened there. Side by side through the final corner, Butler holds off Dr. J as we speak. Ace Edge already a second up the road. We do have a car in the pit. That is last week's winner, Nico John. He probably has wing damage. He's definitely going to need to get that repaired. And, oh my god, why are the timing sheets so funky? Okay, well, we'll stay on board with Lucasade, who is your championship leader right now and is already up 5 positions by the end of lap 1. Not much of a surprise, but now he's got to deal with a little bit of quicker foes. New Plays has actually gained a lot on Ace Edge here, up to 4 tenths down. He was a second and 2 tenths down as the lap started. So it does look like Noob may have a bit of a stronger pace right now. I'm not sure if maybe Ace Edge had his dry setup and it's kind of hurting him right now. But Noob is definitely on the back of Ace Edge, and none of them have used ERS. Oh, we do have a spin that is flying great. Oh no, it is Camo Banana who had a little bit of a spin. So both Alpines now 12th and 13th. Ace Edge holding off Noob Plays for now, but Noob Plays with the fast lap of the race. Clearly a little bit quicker than Ace Edge, but it's a very difficult track to pass on. We can look at the position changes. Yeah, of course, Nico John down 8 positions, having to change his wing, but definitely not out of the race. Lucasade up 5, as we said. Tac Delta up 2. P3 to P5 staying the same, and of course Ace Edge with the lead of the race. Looks like both of them did burn a little bit of ERS on the main straight. We'll close position changes for now. Everything has calmed down a little bit. Craig in the AlphaTauri is holding off Butler in the Red Bull. But Butler does look to be gaining a little bit. Dr. J, great start from him, up to P5. Actually, no, he started P5. My bad on that. Canuck is up to P6. He started P7, followed by Muppet, who started P8. So both of them up a position at the cost of Nico John. I like to go through the cars coming through this very tricky section here. You could call it a chicane. It's almost, I don't know, it's like a corkscrew. And will Ace Edge hold off Noob Plays? Noob Plays was making a move, doesn't burn any ERS. It's going to be a very different race from Tier 1, because Tier 1, a lot of ERS was used, and it was not recovered very quickly. But as you can see, Ace Edge has used a lot of ERS already in the past 2 laps, and he's already at 75%. The slower speeds does definitely help the cars regain their ERS. So ERS is going to play, a bigger factor, because you are going to be able to use it a bit more to defend. Great shot of disgruntled Muppet chasing down Northern Canuck in the Williams. Nico John, fastest lap of the race, showing he has very quick pace. And you can see the times he's catching Camo Banana at a very quick rate. Expect to see him back in the race very soon. Oh, big slide from Dr. J there. Saves the car, but does lose a position at the cost of Northern Canuck. Northern Canuck back up to P5. Dr. J will try and get buy back the Williams driver. Are they going to go side by side here? Nope, Dr. J decides against it. Lucasade has actually underfueled for the race, which is actually a smart decision because it is raining, and I do predict at least one safety car, but everyone has been relatively clean. Tac Delta did touch the grass a little bit, saves the car, but he's going to have a really poor exit, and here comes Dookie Hoser in the AlphaTauri. He's left just enough room. He's burning the ERS, but so is Tac Delta. Who's going to brake later? Dookie Hoser with the outside line. It's not the racing line, though, and Tac Delta holds the position, but Dookie tries to come back at him. Does not succeed. Great battles from the two of them. Oh, and Tac Delta has a terrible exit, and he retires from the race, and that is our first safety car. Tac Delta completely missed his braking point and crashes into the inside wall of turn 4. That is your first safety car. And Nico John in the Aston Martin, at the cost of his teammate, has been brought back into the race. Yeah, that is a proper safety car. That was a big hit for Tac Delta there. Very unfortunate because he had a great battle with Dookie Hoser right before that, but I think Tac Delta might have hit the inside curb, and that just prevented him from stopping at all. That curb is very tricky even in dry weather, and it looks like it has stopped raining. The track is very wet still, but it is not raining. Are we gonna see some plays by some drivers hoping the track dries by the end of the safety car? Will we see anything? Top 3 do not. Top 4 do not. Canuck and Dr. J do not. It looks like everyone is staying out. I thought this was going to be very similar to Japan. Oh, we do have a gamble. Camo Banana in P12 is hoping that the race track becomes green. Or not becomes green, becomes dry. I think Nico's going to go for your mediums as well. That would be a very good gamble for the guys at the back. Camo Banana going on to the hards. I don't know about a hard decision there. I know he's trying to go to the end of the race, but the hard is probably the worst tire to be on in wet conditions. So that's going to be tricky for Camo. But if the track dries, there is potential. I do like the call from Nico John to go to mediums. So if we look at the tires, everyone apart from the bottom 2 are on wet tires. So this is very similar to Tier 1 Japan last week, where the final safety car, it stopped raining, and a couple of us decided to throw on the dries as the track was still wet. There was still like 5-6 laps to go, so we all put on softs. And a couple of people stayed on inters, and the inters were really bad at the end of the race. But the inter drivers managed to pull a decent gap because the track was not dry enough for dries to be quicker until the last lap or two. So I'm very curious if we're going to have any more gambles. I mean, as you can see, the track is still very much wet. There's still spray from the car wheels. But, I mean, we're going to have another lap of safety car. So maybe some gambles? I don't think Ace is going to come in, but I think people further behind might. We do. Butler takes the gamble. Dr. J and Disgruntled Muppet also come in. Butler does get a speeding penalty going too quick into the pit lane. And Dr. J, Muppet, and Flying Grayson all putting on the medium or hard tire. Flying Grayson actually goes for the soft play. So this is going to be very interesting because the safety car is going to come in this lap, because everyone is going to catch up to the field. So we're going to have half the field be on wet tires and half the field be on dry tires. And I don't think they're not going to be quicker at the start. But the cost of having to pit when the track dries at racing speeds is going to cost the top 7, I think, basically all the positions to the dry drivers as well. You can see there's clearly still spray, but every lap that goes by, the track is going to dry. So this is going to be very interesting. I'm very curious what the pace difference is going to be between the wet tires and the dry ones. Very interesting strategy calls here. It should be very interesting. I'm excited for this start. Safety car is in this lap. As you can see, no wetness at all coming down, and it actually does look like the track has dried much more during this lap. I think the top 7 are going to have to come in and pit. And I think Nico John, Butler, and Disgruntled Muppet, and everyone below them have made the right strategy call, and they are going to be way quicker than the cars ahead of them. And they're going to gain basically a 20 to 25 second lead here. I mean, the top 7 are going to do a race lap, but they're going to have to come in the next lap. And actually, it looks like Lucozade has made the decision to come in earlier, which actually may put him ahead of his rivals. That may be a very smart decision. Dutch comes in as well, so a smart decision from these two. The track has dried substantially already, but does look like Camo Banana is holding up the quicker drivers a little bit. Actually, no, that's Dookie Hoser. Dookie Hoser is struggling on those inters, and it looks like Camo Banana is the first to try and make a move. Oh, that's really tight. They made contact. Where is Butler going? That is a... Oh my god, what a send by Butler. An amazing move. I thought that was going to end terribly. What a move by Butler on the inside, and he's trying to get by Camo Banana. Oh, but he sends it too much, and Camo gets the position back. Dookie Hoser is under threat from all these dry drivers. He was the first inter driver because Lucozade and Dutch came in. So he is just under pressure from everyone. He cuts the corner really bad there, and he's in the gravel. He's going to have to come in. Everyone on inters is going to have to come in. And now Dookie Hoser has lost all his positions before he has decided to pit. Here comes Ace Edge. Here comes New Plays. Do not crash into the pit lane, boys. No penalties. And Butler now leads the race fastest lap. All of your leaders have come in to change tires, and the strategy call from the drivers that are in P1 to P6 have come to fruition. They're going to have a 20-second gap to the cars ahead of him. And as we said, Lucozade and Dutch making the right call. They have now jumped their rivals who are on the same tire. So now Lucozade has jumped the cars that were ahead of him, and now he's got to chase down the cars who made the better strategy call. What a race so far. Fantastic race, and it looks like Ace Edge is trying to hold off New Plays. Ace Edge on the faster tire currently. So it looks like the drivers who have gone mediums are definitely going to go. They're going to have to go for medium soft here. But the drivers who have gone hards may be able to push it to the end of the race. They're not going to be very good, but they may be able to stop themselves from having another pit stop. And that is, of course, if there are no safety cars. Look at the gap between Dr. J, who was the last driver to put on dry tires, and Lucozade, who is actually technically, he pitted before the cars ahead of him. Look at the gap. It's only 10 seconds. I thought it was going to be a bit more. Yeah, this race has been fantastic so far. I love the difference in strategies. 9 seconds separates the main pack from the pack who decided to stay out during the wet safety car that turned dry. And Butler, who does have his 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, has already built a 2-second gap to Nico John, who is holding off Camo Banana and Disgruntled Muppet. Flying Grayson a little bit further back on the softs, followed by Dr. J, and then way further back is Lucozade. Oh, this has got me excited. What a race. And we still got 27 laps to go. What more does Tier 2 have in store for us? Unfortunately for Dookie Hoser, he did have that rough interlap, so he is well behind the cars who pitted with him as well. But we look to Will Butler. He is the leader of the race, sets the fastest lap of 1:13.2. Now 3 seconds ahead of Nico John. DRS should be enabled right now, I believe. And watch that gap from Lucozade to Dr. J. It is dropping every lap, now down to 7.4 seconds. It was 9.5 2 laps ago. Craig sets the fastest lap by nearly a second more than Butler's previous lap, and they are pressuring Ace Edge. These three guys right here may be the fastest drivers on track apart from Lucozade, but these guys do not need to battle for P9, P10, and P11. These guys need to work together, use DRS, and catch the field in front of them. Because they cannot let Dutch and Lucozade get ahead. And actually a fantastic call for Dutch right now, who is keeping up with Lucozade directly ahead of him and is holding off Ace Edge, New Plays, and Craig. He decided to pit with Lucozade, which was probably the correct, I mean, it was the correct call, apart from pitting before. And they are just getting faster and faster. Will Butler now up to 3.5 seconds, but look at the ERS situation now. We saw it during the rain. Everyone was above 50% at least, but the top three are now all under 20. Muppet has decided he's kept his ERS relatively tame at 60. Flying Grayson at 80. Dr. J at 50. Lucozade at 50. So everyone, I mean, Ace has been pushing, but that's because New Plays has been pressuring him pretty hard. But these top three definitely need to start working together a bit more. And it looks like they may have decided that. I haven't seen any big moves from either of them yet. Northern Canuck a little bit further behind this group. He is pushing a little bit with ERS. It would be good for him to try and catch that DRS train. But this is really good for Butler and Nico John. Of course, Butler does have his speeding penalty. Actually, it looks like Butler had a little bit of a moment because he's now down to 2.2 seconds. But this is really good for Nico John and Butler, and, I mean, Camo Banana, because all of these drivers are relatively close on pace. And, I mean, this is a big lead. Like, the drivers behind them are going to have to push very hard to catch them. Oh, and we have a move there. Muppet looked like he was looking under Camo Banana there. DRS definitely helping. But Muppet is on the faster tire right now, but by lap 10, 11, that's going to be a different story, so he definitely probably wants to get by Camo Banana as quickly as he can. Lucazade's gap to Dr. J is now just 4 seconds. I'm going to keep the tire situation up because it's very different for everyone, basically. Those two difference in tire position or pitting doesn't look very big, but if you look back at what happened during the race, it was probably the strategy call of the race. So Dutch now, I mean, he's keeping up with Lucozade somewhat, but he is now under pressure from Ace Edge, who's on quicker tires, New Plays, who's on the same, and Craig, who's on mediums. Now, I'm not sure, I know Dutch is a quick driver, but if he doesn't have the pace to keep these guys behind him, it may be beneficial for him to let them by and stick in that DRS train, which would also let his teammate catch up in the Williams in Northern Canuck in P12. So Dutch has saved a good amount of ERS here. Ace Edge is going to use DRS. Is Dutch going to burn it, or is he going to let them pass? He's not burning any. So Ace Edge is going to make the move. Dutch does get swallowed by two drivers there, but I think it's still the right call to let them by and stick in this train of fast cars. He does have Craig behind him, who doesn't seem... I think Craig's hanging on to DRS a little bit here. He should be on quicker tires than Noob, but Noob has shown incredible pace this race so far, so I think Noob is playing the long game here. They're not far off Lucozade either. And look at the gap from Lucozade to Dr. J now. It's basically going to be under a second through this corner. A 9-second gap closed in about 6-7 laps. But of course, Dr. J has actually fallen relatively far away from the cars ahead of him, and Grayson has a pretty big gap to his teammate Camo Banana. Actually missed the pass Muppet made on Camo Banana. Apologies for that. Muppet does burn a little bit of ERS to keep Camo Banana behind him, but the two drivers ahead of him are burning a lot of ERS. And I mean, of course, Butler, that 5-second penalty, unless he gets it removed due to a speeding penalty glitch that the game sometimes has, that's going to hurt considering the position the game put him in. Take a look at the tier chat. Nothing. Good stuff. Okay. Why don't we look? I mean, we can look at. I think we're going to see a big thing here. Position changes. Look at this graph. Butler up 3, Nico John up 4, Muppet up 5, Camo up 7, Grayson up 8. Dr. J has actually stayed relatively similar to where he started. Lucasade up 7, of course. Ace, Edge, and New Plays, and Craig all down 6, 8, and 7. Dutch is actually up a position. Hopefully he's not actually within DRS anymore, which is unfortunate. And Northern Canuck, who's just a little bit further behind, followed by Dookie Hoser, who rounds out the order for the grid right now. We'll go back to tires. So, apart from the hard runners, we should see another set of pit stops. Mainly from the medium drivers. I think at around lap 22, 23, those guys are going to throw on the softs. And it's going to be, I think it's going to be a mad dash to the finish unless there's a safety car. And I do hope there isn't, because the strategy calls here are very interesting, and I think a safety car would ruin that. So Dr. J actually sticking with Lucasade. Lucasade on the medium tire, obviously your championship leader right now, who's up to P6, started last. And he is slowly making his way towards Grayson. Dr. J not letting him out of DRS, though, getting pulled. Ace, Edge, and New Plays not far behind either. Craig has been able to stick within DRS of these guys as well. I wish we could see tire deg for people. That would be an interesting graph to look at. So as you can see, Butler has actually lost all of his gap to Nico John. I did mention that Butler is very quick, but he does tend to burn his tires and his ERS really early in his runs. And Nico John is on the butt of that Red Bull. This is the battle we should have got at Zandvoort if the Aston Martin was actually good and gave Alonso a chance to win a race. As you can see, Nico John has held on to 20% battery, while Butler is ranging from 10 to almost 0. Well, I think coming up to the main straight here, we are going to see a pass for the lead of the race. Disgruntled Muppet and Camo Banana both have been able to basically stick with each other, provide a little DRS for both cars, and I think that's very beneficial for both of them. They're not fighting. They're not losing time as much to the cars behind. But as you can see, the gap has closed. Grayson is probably going to have to pit very soon for medium tires, but he may be able to get a nice early undercut of the cars that will have to pit, because I mean, medium tires are not going to go to the end of the race. It's just not happening. As we can see, both Mercedes back-to-back here. Ace Edge has actually lost the position to New Plays. Craig still watching these two from behind, and both Williams of Dutch and Northern Canuck a little bit further behind. We would all jump to the battle for the lead here. I was actually surprised Nico John wasn't able to make the pass the previous lap, but he has saved up a little more ERS. And Butler is still at the same 10%. I mean, it is a good idea for these guys not to fight, but if Nico John is the quicker driver right now, it may be beneficial for him to actually make a move and try and gain a little bit more time than he would being stuck behind Butler. But as you can see, this is why Butler has been able to keep the lead. His exit out of the penultimate corner gains him such an advantage that Nico John is only able to pull like a 10th. So it does look like Nico John is struggling on that final section of the track, which is allowing Butler to hold on. And we have some pit stops, and Grayson with a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Lucasade actually comes into the pit lane. He had to basically slam on the brakes there. Lucasade actually comes in really early, but oh yeah, it's true, because they were on inters, so technically the drivers don't need to go on to softs. They can pit for double mediums and go to the end of the race. So that may not be a bad call. I would have thought they maybe would have pushed it a little more, because, I mean, 12 laps on the mediums isn't too bad around Zandvoort. So realistically, they could push it to lap 22, 23, and throw in the softs for the end, but they're the ones racing, I'm the one commentating. So apart from those three drivers pitting, well, two drivers, Dookie Hoser is actually not pit yet. He decided to go for the hard strat. But apart from those two pitting, everyone else is in the same position. Dr. J right in front of his teammate, followed by Ace Edge, who is on the tail of Noob Plays, and Craig, once again, slightly behind these two. And Ace Edge may actually be looking for a move here. He's got the straight line speed. He decides to hold it against it. Some teamwork may be going on here with the two Mercedes, because the DRS is really helping Noob defend against the charging McLaren. But hopefully Dr. J is not holding up his teammate much either, and it does look like Noob is trying to look for a move. And Dr. J lets him by, looking like some teamwork there, lets his teammate by, and is now able to trying to defend against Ace Edge. Oh, and Ace Edge goes around the outside. What a move. Can he make it stick? Yes, he can. And here comes Craig on the inside. Dr. J let his teammate by, and all of a sudden he's lost two more positions. So now these three are still neck and neck, all with DRS on each other. Dr. J played the good guy move, and unfortunately it does seem to have bitten him in the butt a little bit. He's now down to P8. And is now being hunted down by the two Williams right behind him. And we do have a pit. Nico John is in the pit lane. Is he going for softs? He's going for another pair of mediums. Goes a little bit later than Lucasade. Will we have drivers? Ace Edge gets the 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Is he going for softs? He goes for mediums as well. Lots of penalties happening here in the pit lane. It is a tricky pit lane. It can catch you out a little bit. But Lucasade is CEO. Fastest lap for Lucasade, a 1:12.3. That is 2/10 quicker than I believe the last fastest lap. Is Ace Edge going to be able to get in front of him? No, he cannot. Ace Edge is actually really close to Lucasade, though. Lucasade was a few seconds ahead of Ace Edge the last time, so this is still a good pit stop for Ace. But three drivers with 5-second speeding penalties, Butler, Ace Edge, and Grayson. Two of those may affect the end of the race and who wins. So as we stand, Butler and Muppet will have to pit. Camo Banana and Noob Plays may not. Craig will. Dr. J will not, and Nico is the closest driver on track. I think Nico just has to be a little bit patient here and try and get the DRS on the main straight and burn some ERS. He's going to have a better exit. Here he goes on the inside. Gets the pass done before the corner is even finished. Burns some ERS as he chases down Craig, who is not pit yet. Camo Banana hops into the pit lane. No penalty for him. That will help him in the future. He's going to drop down to P9, not too... he might actually get passed by Lucasade, and Camo Banana was well... Oh, a little bit of a slide there, but he is still ahead of Lucasade. But he was well ahead of Lucasade, so Lucasade and Ace have made the right decisions here. Actually, no, Camo Banana was... Oh yeah, Camo Banana was ahead of Ace. All these position changes are getting me confused, but Nico John chasing down Craig. Is Craig holding off to maybe go onto the soft tire? Might be the right move now, though. There's no point in going onto mediums right now. Noob Plays on the hard tire may actually be in the best position to win this race. Butler is into the pit lane. He's actually going to serve his 5-second here, so that maybe will help him. That's going to cost him probably 2-3 positions. Disgruntled Muppet into the pit lane as well. Butler's actually decided to go on to mediums. Muppet does as well. So no soft runners as of yet. So your leader currently is Noob Plays on the hards, but Nico John is not far behind on very fresh medium tires. Dr. J, his teammate, not far behind from Nico John. Then Dutch on 15-lap Old Hards separates Butler from his rival, Nico John. Butler currently splits the two Williams. Muppet now on fresh tires, 1.5 ahead of Camo. And Ace has actually gotten ahead of Lucozade, so these pit stops have not helped Lucozade as much as he thought it would. Craig has also just pit 4 medium tires, so it doesn't look like anybody is going to go for the soft tire. Yeah, 100% Hoop. I was going to, if there was no safety cars, I was going to pit on lap 21 for softs. So I'm surprised that lap 22, 23 people wouldn't have taken the risk, but I guess they're just feeling comfortable with mediums instead. And we do have Northern Canuck actually comes into the pit. Is he going to throw on softs? Maybe try and steal fastest lap of the race? Maybe Canuck hoping for a... Nope, onto the mediums as well. Dookie Hoser actually comes in as well. Dookie may be going for a soft play, maybe steal fastest lap. And here is... a little bit of lag there. But Nico John is now on the tail of New Plays. And I mean, New Plays has still got to go 13 more laps on those hard. A little bit of lag. I'm not sure if it's the lobby or if it's just Noob. But it is going to be very difficult for Dr. J to defend against Butler. Oh, and Butler is actually a little bit under pressure from Dutch? Or no, Butler just passed Dutch. Dutch was ahead of him. Muppet attempting to hold off Camo Banana. These two have been battling for basically the whole race now. And New Plays has decided to pit and gets the 5-second speeding penalty. Goes on to medium tires. Dutch is into the pits as well. Will somebody go on to the soft tire? No, another medium tire. And Grayson battling with Craig here. Craig gets ahead and New Plays is just behind these guys. So Dr. J is the only driver who is still on the hard tires from those initial pit stops at lap 6. And he has got Butler all over him. Butler's still burning a lot of ERS, though. Dr. J not on a lot either, though. Nico John with a 6-second lead to the nearest car. And it does look like Ace, I mean, apart from his 5-second penalty, has been able to hold off Lucozade. Starting to be a 4-car battle between these four here. Nico is actually cooking. He's got a 6.6 second gap to Butler. Butler 2-lap fresher tires. Can he make up that gap? Dr. J into the pits. Dr. J, will you be the hero to go on to softs? Oh, he slowed down relatively easy there, but no penalty. Can Butler make up a 6-second gap in basically 10 laps? Oh my god, we have a soft runner. Dr. J hops on to the softs. He may be able to steal fastest lap of the race. We will keep an eye on that. As we jump back to the lead, Nico John still 6.4 seconds ahead of Butler. Butler's going to be pushing very hard, though. And then this 4-car battle for the final podium spot. Dr. J, our soft savior, absolutely. And this is going to be an intense 4-car battle to keep an eye on. Disgruntled Muppet is under pressure from Camo Banana. Ace does have that 5-second time penalty, but he's still going to want to get by these guys. And Lucozade not far behind either. Ace Edge basically pushing the Alpine through the corner. Will we get some passes on the final straight? Muppet has saved some ERS, 30%. He's not burning. Oh, he starts to burn it now. He probably should have started burning it a little bit more. Camo Banana is side by side. Gets the pass done. He's going to have to break a little earlier because he's on the inside. And here comes Ace on the inside. New Plays sets the fastest lap, a 1:12.3. Ace Edge not able to get by Muppet there. Muppet manages to defend just enough. And Lucasada's kind of in the party now. He's got 50% ERS. What can he do? Craig not too far off these drivers as well. Noob plays with the penalty right behind the AlphaTauri. And Grayson not too far off as well. That 6.5 second gap has now closed to 5.5 seconds between Nico John and Butler. Butler does seem to be a little bit quicker right now, and he is on the fresher tire. But can he pull a big enough gap? 5 seconds in around 9 laps. He's already gained a second from the last time we talked about it, but he's going to need to gain a lot more than that. Camo Banana is now the leading car in this train. Muppet is a little bit further behind. Ace Edge has a better run. Both will have DRS. Ace Edge decides to stick to the back of Muppet. Goes back again. Brakes much later. Side by side through the corner. New plate sets another fastest lap of the race. A 1:12.1 now. And Ace Edge makes the move through this tricky Sector 1. He is now directly behind Camo Banana for that third podium position. And Lucasade is not far behind either. He's saving up ERS for maybe a couple of laps later push. And of course, Ace Edge does have his penalty. Will it be removed? I'm not sure. Sometimes the pit lane does have a little bit of a visual glitch that can get penalties removed. We'll have to see at the end of the race. Noob plays on the second freshest tire on the track, 4.5. Whoa, that's some lag from Noob there. And Craig has actually gotten passed by Noob, so he's down to P8. A little bit of a gap separating Grayson. And Butler gets a 3-second time penalty for cutting corners. Now, that won't really affect him going from P2 to P3, but any chance he had of catching Nico John in the lead has basically gone out the window unless Nico John makes a mistake, and disgruntled Muppet side by side with Ace. Disgruntled Muppet with the better exit. Are they going to go side by side? Ace backs off. Muppet takes back P4. And this is allowing Camo Banana to build a little bit of a gap. He's now 1.3 seconds ahead. Lucasade is just watching this battle, licking his lips. He's at 62% ERS now. Both of these drivers under 10%. Ace is literally at 0. What a race we have had on our hands. Only one safety car. These drivers have been putting on a fantastic show for us. The difference in strategies at the start of the race has equaled a very different lineup than we would have thought at the end of the race. For those curious, here are the penalties, 3 of them being speeding penalties, and one of them being Butler, who cut the corner at the penultimate corner, got his 3rd warning, and now has a 3-second time penalty. It won't affect him much, but it does hurt that if Nico John makes a slight mistake and he catches back up, he's going to have that extra 3 seconds added on. Dr. J on the soft tire has not been able to steal fastest lap from Noob Plays. Camo Banana has lost that lead he had. He is now in DRS striking distance from Muppet. Ace Edge not far behind. Lucasade still saving ERS. Craig has fallen a little bit off of Noob Plays. Will Noob Plays catch this final 4 pair? But he does have that 5-second time penalty as well. Dutch is actually closing on Grayson here, and Grayson does have that time penalty. Northern Canuck is just well behind Dr. J and Dookie Hoser, even further behind. Has not been those two's days. Whose day it has been is Nico John, who currently leads the race with a well-safe 6-second lead. And Muppet, a little bit of bang in there, not sure what happened. Camel Banana backs off, and Muppet is now in third position. Ace Edge in P4. Little bit of contact as they go through turn 4. Oh, and Ace is around! And that is a safety car. Our second safety car of the race, and this race has been turned upside down. With 5 laps to go, it is now a soft sprint to the end of the race, and I'm telling you, I think the happiest person to see this is this man in the McLaren. His race was over, and now a shot to get back positions. Everyone who has a 5-second time penalty will get it removed as they enter the pit lane for softs. Northern Canuck and Dookie Hoser hop into the pit lane early. So the only man that will be left with a penalty is Butler. Cutting the corners has not helped him. So now everyone is going to be lined up behind him. And he is going to have that 3-second time penalty. Now what everyone does not want to do here is get another 5-second time penalty. I want no 5-second time penalties on the board as we start this final sprint. Everyone into the pit nice and slowly. And Flying Grayson, speeding under safety car, gets a drive-through penalty which he will only be able to serve once the safety car is over. And he gets a 5-second time penalty to boot. Everyone is into the pits. Everyone is on fresh softs. Oh boy. If this race hasn't given us enough excitement, we are about to have, I think, a 4-lap sprint, maybe 3, to end this race in the Netherlands. Let's look at the position changes since the start of the race. Everyone in the top 5 has basically jumped up many positions. Craig and Noob, the losers of positions in the mid-pack. Dutch is up 4. Ace is, of course, down 7 with that spin he just had. Grayson up 3. And the bottom 3 are all down positions. They had much better qualifying positions than where they are now. Nico John, unfortunately for him, it looked like it was a guaranteed win on the table. He had a 6-second lead up to 9 with Butler's 3-second time penalty. But now he's going to have to race just that little bit harder because he's got some hungry cars behind him. Butler is still going to chase him down because he's got that 3-second time penalty, and he's going to want to get as far away as from every other car as he can. The race will be underway with 3 laps to go. We will be starting the race at the start of lap 34. Oh boy. Everybody. Oh my goodness, and Butler almost slams into the back of Nico John there. I think the safety car slowing down that much kind of caught him off guard. This actually gives Lucasade another chance to maybe make up a couple more positions from him starting last. This has definitely helped drivers like Craig out, Noob, Dutch. I mean, it basically gives everyone a chance here to make up positions. It has equalized the field after that crazy start where some people stayed on inters, some went to softs. And we are about to start the final sprint. There will be no safety cars after this one. It'll be too close to the end of the race. Oh, and we have a car off track there. Ace Edge actually loses a position to Grayson there. I'm not sure what happened there if he was avoiding a car, but he's now down 1 position, which isn't going to help him. Oh, and Camo Banana almost passed him up it there. I know everyone's getting antsy here, but don't make any passes under safety car. No need. And safety car will be in this lap. Will Butler try and make a move to get by Nico John? Will Nico John defend enough to keep him behind? Oh, and we have someone who just tapped Oh, I do hope that Lucasade did not lose any part of his wing. Why is everybody going so slowly here? Oh, and Lucasade, I do think, has lost his left front end plate, which is definitely going to affect him at the end of this restart. I'm not sure why everyone's slowed up so much. Everyone's still slowing up here. And Disgruntled Muppet, 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. That's going to get removed because that is a ridiculous penalty. No idea why he got that one. But we are underway racing. Butler does make a move on Nico John. Lucasade up to 4th now. Camo Banana loses 1 position. Oh, and Butler's off the track. Butler's off the track. He enters the track a little dangerously there, but he basically had nowhere else to go. And Butler is now down to P7. And he's being chased by Ace. And all of a sudden, Nico John, Disgruntled Muppet, and Lucasade are your top 3. Camo Banana trying to make a move on Lucasade. Muppet has to race for the win. Has to race for the win here. I have no idea why he got a 5-second penalty for the track basically starting there. I think Camo Banana got ahead of him, and then he refused to give the position back. And Lucasade, oh my goodness, 3 wide. Don't go 3 wide through here, boys. Oh my god, they basically did. Craig was basically off the track. That's going to cost him so many positions. He taps the side of Ace. Craig is now down to the last points position. So many differences. Oh my god, Lucasade's basically pushing Noob plays. A little bit of lag going on with Noob as well. Lucasade is passed. Ace Edge up to P6 after having his little spin during the safety car, but he gets passed by Butler. All 5 of these drivers jockeying for position as Nico John and Muppet race up the field. Yeah, I'm sure. Oh yeah, I'm sure it's really. Yep, the lag has. Oh my goodness, what is going on with Noob's connection here? It was bad during the race. Oh, and Lucasade is off the track. He got too much on the curb. Oh, and he spins. And Lucasade is now he's going to be down to the last position. A chaotic end as we are about to start the final lap. Ace Edge up to P4. Disgruntled Muppet too far away from Nico John to get the DRS. And Nico John on the last lap possible, well, second last lap possible, gets the fastest lap of the race. DRS is enabled. Grayson, another 5-second time penalty for speeding. Butler side by side with Ace, bumping and banging. Ace decides to go for it. Here comes Camo Banana on the inside. They don't make contact somehow. Butler defending for his life. Everybody burning as much ERS as they can. Nico John almost 2 seconds ahead of Disgruntled Muppet. Muppet's penalty will definitely be removed, which will guarantee him a P2. So right now, New Plays holds the final podium position. Butler with his penalty is probably going to lose around 4 positions. Will any of them? Camo Banana has way more ERS than the 2 ahead of him. He will get past Butler regardless, but will he try and make a move on Ace? I don't think so. Nico John is your winner. Muppet will become P2. Noob P3. Butler P4, but he drops down to P8. Disgruntled Muppet will be your P2 driver, even though that 5-second penalty drops him to P5. That was a ridiculous penalty if I've ever seen one. New Plays will hold on to the final podium position. Ace Edge fights back from P10 at the start of that final restart to P4. Camo Banana P5. Northern Canuck, the Williams pair, come home P6 and P7 after it looked like they were going to finish outside the top 10. Butler, fantastic race Unfortunately, that 3-second time penalty and a little bit of an error at the start of the safety car drops him to P8. And Camo Banana is your driver of the day. Oh my goodness. Wow. That was a race. My goodness. Yeah, the stream caught it, Craig. The Noobs connection did not look fun to race with. And here, I mean, it did basically end Luca's race because he had no idea where that car was. Nico John was your race winner. Nothing will take that away from him. Noob Plays will be your P3 driver. Disgruntled Muppet in P5. Definitely got a bogus penalty, so he will be P2. Ace Edge comes home P4 after fighting for P10. Northern Canuck and Dutch hold P6, P7. Butler with his 3-second time penalty will drop to P8. Dookie Hoser, the only driver to finish where he started, in P9. Dr. J will hold P10. Craig had really good pace. Unfortunately, got caught up in some incidents at the end of the race. And he drops to P11. Grayson, P12. Lucas Aid, a fantastic race from him until the end. Looked like he was going to maybe finish in the podiums, but drops down to only one position ahead of where he started. And Tac Delta, the only driver to not finish the race. Oh boy. I do think with that race, Nico John may take the championship lead in Tier 2. He gets fastest lap. He gets P1. That is 51 points. He did not get pole, but I do believe only 13th in this league is only like 8 or 7 points. So congratulations to Nico John, who jumps Lucasade to be your championship leader in Tier 2. Wow, what a race. A little bit of funkiness went on in the end, unfortunately. That connection from Noob does seem to affect a lot of drivers. But, I mean, what a race from Tier 2 regardless. Quality-wise, definitely a better race than Tier 1. That strategy at the start of the race, the quality of driving from everyone was fantastic. So, congratulations to all of you. Wherever you finished, you still drove fantastic. And I'm sure the people watching were very entertained as well. I know Ramsey was. Don't you wish you got to comms with me, Ramsey? My goodness. I would have loved to hear your reactions instead of just read them. Ugh. Do I bother looking in the Tier 2 chat? Or is it going to be a little bit of chaos? Oh, what a race. Good lord. Well, to anyone watching still, if you have any last-minute questions or thoughts about the race, the stream will be ending in about 1 or 2 minutes. So, any final thoughts about the race? I mean, it was a fantastic race regardless. And what a way to end 2023 for Tier 2. But, yeah. Wow. I should comms Tier 2 more often. The Japan race last week was nothing compared to this one. My goodness. And congratulations to Nico John winning back-to-back races. Fastest lap, Disgruntled Muppet will get P2 with his penalty removed. And New Plays takes the final podium spot. Oh. That was me dropping my controller. Don't mind that. Oh boy. But yeah, with no further questions from the chat, I have been your host, Gourd Sauce. Fantastic race from Tier 2 today. I'm sure everyone is going to want to watch the VOD tomorrow or Tuesday. But I've been your host, Gourd Sauce. We will see you guys, I do believe, midweek on Wednesday. This upcoming Wednesday will be our final race of PRL for 2023. Once that is over, we will take our winter break and start the latter half of our 14 race season once New Year's has passed. So congrats to the Tier 2 drivers. Congrats to the Tier 1 drivers of this week who will not be racing in midweek. And apart from midweek upcoming, we will see you guys next year. Ciao, ciao, everybody.